trying to think, what could I say that could actually be helpful or useful to you in the future? And I thought I'd perhaps tell the story of how I sort of came to be here. How did some of these things happen? And maybe there's some lessons there, because I often find myself wondering, how did this happen? So when I was young, I didn't really know what I was going to do when I got older. People kept asking me, and eventually I thought that the idea of inventing things would be really cool. And the reason I thought that was because I read a quote from Arthur C. Clarke, which said that a sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And that's really true. If you go back, say, 300 years, the things that we take for granted today, you'd be burned at the stake for. You know, being able to fly, that's crazy. Being able to see over long distances, being able to communicate, having effectively, with the internet, a group mind of sorts, and having access to all the world's information instantly from almost anywhere on the earth. This is stuff that really would be magic, or would be considered magic in times past. In fact, I think it actually goes beyond that, because there are many things that we take for granted today that weren't even imagined in times past. They weren't even in the realm of magic. So it actually goes beyond that. So I thought, well, you know, if I can do some of those things, basically if I can advance technology, then that's like magic, and that would be really cool. And I also had sort of a slight existential crisis, because I was trying to figure out, what does it all mean? Like, what's the purpose of things? And I came to the conclusion that if we can advance the knowledge of the world, if we can do things that expand the scope and scale of consciousness, then we're better able to ask the right questions and become more enlightened. And that's really the only way forward. So I studied physics and business, because I figured in order to do a lot of these things, you need to know how the universe works, and you need to know how the economy works. And you also need to be able to bring a lot of people together to work with you to create something, because it's very difficult to do something as an individual if it's a significant technology. So I originally came out to California to try to figure out how to improve the energy density of electric vehicles, basically to try to figure out if there was an advanced capacitor that could serve as an alternative to batteries. That was in '95, and that's also when the internet started to happen. And I thought, well, I can either pursue this technology where success may not be one of the possible outcomes, which is always tricky, or participate in the internet and be part of it. So I decided to drop out. Did some internet stuff. Did a few things here and there. One of which is PayPal. And I think maybe it's helpful to say one of the things that was important then in the creation of PayPal was kind of how it started, because the initial thought with PayPal was to create an agglomeration of financial services. So if you have one place where all your financial services needs would be seamlessly integrated and work smoothly. And then we had like a little feature which was to do email payments. And whenever we'd show the system off to someone, we'd show the hard part, which was the agglomeration of financial services, which was quite difficult to put together. Nobody was interested. Then we'd show people email payments, which was actually quite easy, and everybody was interested. So this is, I think it's important to take feedback from your environment. You know, you want to be as closed loop as possible. So we focused on email payments and really try to make that work, and that's what really got things to take off. But if we hadn't responded to what people said, then we probably would not have been successful. So it's important to look for things like that and focus on them when you see them, and you correct your prior assumptions. And then going from PayPal, I thought, well, what are some of the other problems that are likely to most affect the future of humanity? It really wasn't from the perspective of what's the rank-ordered best way to make money, which is okay, but it was really what I think is going to most affect the future of humanity. So I think the biggest terrestrial problem we've got is sustainable energy, both production and consumption of energy in a sustainable manner. If we don't solve that this century, we're in deep trouble. And then the other one being the extension of life beyond Earth to make life multiplanetary. So the latter is the basis for SpaceX, and the former is the basis for Tesla and Solar City. And when I started SpaceX, initially, I thought that, well, there's no way one could possibly start a rocket company. I wasn't that crazy. I thought, well, what is a way to increase NASA's budget? That was actually my initial goal. So I thought, well, if we can do a low-cost mission to Mars, something called Mars Oasis, which would land seeds in dehydrated nutrient gel, and you hydrate them upon landing, and then you have this great sort of money shot of green plants on a red background. The public tends to respond to precedents and superlatives, and this would be the first life on Mars, the furthest that life's ever traveled, as far as we know. And I thought, well, that would get people really excited, and therefore increase NASA's budget. So obviously, the financial outcome from such a mission would probably be zero. So anything better than that was on the upside. So I actually went to Russia 3 times to look at buying a refurbished ICBM, because that was the best deal. And I can tell you it was very weird going there in late 2001, 2002, going to the Russian rocket forces and saying, I'd like to buy 2 of your biggest rockets, but you can keep the nuke. That's a lot more. They thought I was crazy, but I did have money, so that was okay. After making several trips to Russia, I came to the conclusion that actually my initial impression was wrong, because my initial thought was, well, that there's not enough will to explore and expand beyond Earth and have a Mars base and that kind of thing. But I came to the conclusion that that was wrong. In fact, there's plenty of will, particularly in the United States, because the United States is a nation of explorers, of people who came here from other parts of the world. I think the United States is really a distillation of the spirit of human exploration. But if people think it's impossible or it's going to completely break the federal budget, then they're not going to do it. So after my 3rd trip, I said, okay, well, what we really need to do here is try to solve the space transport problem, and started SpaceX. And this was against the advice of pretty much everyone I talked to. But one friend made me sit down and watch a bunch of videos of rockets blowing up. Let me tell you, he wasn't far wrong. It was tough going there in the beginning because I'd never built anything physical. I mean, I built like little model rockets as a kid and that kind of thing, but I'd never had a company that built anything physical. So I had to figure out how to do all these things and bring together the right team of people. And so we did all that and then failed 3 times. It was tough going. Because the thing about a rocket is the passing grade is 100%. And you don't get to actually test the rocket in the real environment that it's going to be in. So I think the best analogy for rocket engineering is like if you want to create a really complicated bit of software, you can't run the software as an integrated whole, and you can't run it on the computer it's intended to run on. But the first time you put it all together and run it on that computer, it must run with no bugs. That's basically the essence of it. So we missed the mark there.
I know some of you believe it's you against the world. You want me to believe that everyone is against you? How about proving somebody right? How about all those people who did support you, who did encourage you, who loved you enough to tell you the truth, loved you enough to be honest with you? They drove you, they paid for you, they fed you, they clothed you. You cheered for them, they cheered for you. They helped you in practice, they picked you up, they took you home. Who was on your squad? Who do you want to prove right now? If you are always trying to prove someone wrong, instead of proving someone right, that can't get you enough fuel for the long haul.
You have got to realize that doing everything by yourself is the quickest path to burnout. Talent wins games, but teamwork wins championships. Do you just want to win games, or do you want to win championships?
I hear you talking. I don't need anybody. I don't trust anybody. But when that is your mindset, when that is your mentality, anger is the motivation. Pain is the motivation. Then revenge is what's driving you. Revenge can't be what drives you. It's not a long-term play. Eventually, anger and revenge are proving someone wrong has its limits. Why? Because together we can.
But if you really want to go further, you've got to be willing to come out of isolation. Welcoming support is one of the best gifts that you can give yourself. Yes, be strong, but also give yourself permission to be human. Trying to build your vision on your own places you at a disadvantage. Even when I know that I can grind harder, even when I know that I can stay up later and get it done by myself. Yeah, you may be better at it, but don't underestimate the power of teamwork. Talent wins games, but teamwork wins championships. Did you hear that? Did you catch that? That is powerful.
You see, the isolation mindset is not healthy for you. This me against the world mindset is dangerous. In fact, I think this world is too busy for anyone to worry too much about you. This world is too selfish for people to be thinking too much about you. Why? Because they're thinking about themselves. And here is an idea. If you want more support, why not give it first? Everything you need in life must pass through another human's hands. I want to say that one more time so that you get it. Everything you need in life must pass through another human being's hands. That's why people are the most valuable resource on this earth. That's why you can't have this me against the world mentality, because you're going to block off your blessings. You're going to block off the people who have the resources. You see, God is trying to get things to you, but he has to use other humans. He has to use people in order to get it to you. Can I be clear? Can I be honest with you? The one thing might be holding you back is that you don't understand how important is it for you to understand people are here to be a resource for you. Everything you need in life is going to be given to you through another person. I believe success is a two-part process. Success, greatness, requires two things. We must get you right first. Can I ask you a question? Honestly, are you okay with correction? Are you okay with rebuke? Are you okay with someone telling you the truth? When someone tells you the truth, is that when they become your enemy? When someone tells you the truth, is that when you shut down? When someone tells you the truth, is that how you interpret it? That they are against you? They're not against you. They're for you because you can trust the rule of a friend. You can always trust the truth. Are you open to being coached? Are you coachable? Are you open to being taught? Are you teachable? Are you open to being mentored? I mean, have you ever been a mentee? You allow people to encourage you, influence you, and have impact. These are the resources you may be running from, but I'm telling you to run to the truth. Run to the honest truth. Run to rebuke. Run to correction. Stop being easy on you. Stop being tough on you. And here is an idea. If you want more support, why not give it first? I mean, you want people supporting you. You're so focused on you. Can I ask you a real question? Here comes the truth. Don't run away. Here comes the honesty. Don't run away. Who do you support? Who are you encouraging? Who are you clapping for? Who are you lifting up? Who are you cheering for? Who are you rooting for? You got to use your energy the right way because the universe will give it back. Sometimes you got to pay it forward. And then you wait for the harvest to come your way. You need to give your support away freely. Why? Because together we can. I know you need more support, but so does your neighbor. I know you need support, but so does your friend. I know you need more support, but so does your brother. So does your sister. So does your friend. Let's work on you. Then work on your squad. And the most important part of it is what you give, not what you take. Why? Because I need you, and you need me. And together, we can.
Listen, I have gotten to the point where I will not try to do everything on my own. I am so over trying to fight serious battles on my own. I am so over trying to build my business on my own. The only way to grow is to have someone tell you the truth. A talented and passionate person, that's great. But a talented and passionate team, now that's a force to be reckoned with. And I want you to understand that at some point, you're going to have to realize that you have taken yourself as far as you can. You don't have to wait until you get to your breaking point. You don't have to wait until you're at the point of being ready to give up. You can start building your support system now. You can start building your team now. You can develop your growth strategy now. And so I want you to know that you don't have to have all the answers. This is coming from a recovering perfectionist, okay? You don't have to have all the answers. That's the beauty of having the right people in your corner. You need at least one person in your corner who can see what you can't see. And as a matter of fact, I recommend that you position yourself around people who will pull the greatness out of you. Yes, that means stretching you. And when you hear someone spewing division, don't take part in that. Division is unfruitful. You can get so much more done when you're working in unity. So who are you connected to? And what are y'all going to do to make the world a better place? When you are going through a tough time or you're fighting a difficult battle, don't try to figure it all out on your own. Don't try to compete with the person who has been sent to support you. It's not a competition. The only person you need to be in competition with is the person you were yesterday.